This is the Skoda Superb, and I'm going to tell you everything you need to know about it. I'm Jordan, and you're watching Auto Express. So the first thing to know is that the Skoda Superb is available both as this fastback with a hatchback boot and an estate, and in either case it is huge. It's probably about the size of an A6 or a BMW 5 Series of only one generation ago. As you can see, it is a pretty conservative looking thing these days and not quite as sharp as the last generation, but it still looks very modern thanks to lots of little details. Now this car here is a pretty bread and butter SEL version which sits somewhere in the middle of the range, but it still comes with a pretty snazzy set of LED headlights and some nice 18-inch wheels. Below this is an SE technology model which starts at about 36k, and above it is the sports line which gets rid of all of the chrome and replaces them for black elements. That starts at about 42k, and then at the top of the range is the LNK, which is the proper luxury spec with even more chrome and a few extra luxuries in the cabin. Now, some highlights of this cabin include the digital interfaces, which I have to say are pretty impressive even for this class and in 2025. Now, the infotainment by and large is pretty easy to use. As you can see, it's got a very easy menu structure and lots of shortcuts both at the top for various aspects like your active assist and your parking assist, as well as down the bottom for things like your music, your telephone and your navigation. This is joined by a second screen in front of the driver, and that shows most key elements and is also pretty configurable and easy to navigate as well. However, the coolest thing in this interior are these three switches here, or these three dials, which are active and can change depending on what you want them to do. Now, in terms of storage, this cabin has plenty of options. As you can see, the center console no longer has a gear selector, and that's now up on a stalk behind the steering wheel, and instead you're left with this enormous space with plenty of room for all sorts of things. As you can see, we've got a couple of cup holders here, a wireless phone charger and some USB-C ports. There is still a physical handbrake here, which is quite useful, and a space to leave the key, but there's also a pretty handy center cubby which has a lift out zone and also this little gadget here. This is actually a clever little microfiber pad that you can run on the screen to get rid of any errant fingerprints at any time. And the fact that it has a holder is also very satisfying. Did you know that you can sell your car through Auto Express? With decades of trusted reviews and advice behind us, you can sell your car with confidence knowing that we'll know what makes it so valuable. No nonsense, just unrivaled expertise. Get an honest valuation by following the link in the description below. Now, yes, I know that Simply Clever is Skoda's tagline, but there are plenty of other things in this cabin that really fulfill the brief. So, first of all, there is the typical Skoda umbrella in the door. There is the eye scraper in the fuel filler cap, which is a personal favorite of mine. There is an electronic release for the tow bar, where fitted. There are these Ego comfort seats, which have a massage function and memory in this mid-spec car, which is a very nice touch. But of course, the whole point of a Skoda Superb is space in the rear, and look at it. There is so much in this car. Not only is there lots of legroom, but there's still plenty of headroom, despite the fact that the roofline does flow down a little bit, and also plenty of shoulder room, which is a nice surprise. There is a hump in the floor to have to deal with, but it is pretty narrow, which means that your third passenger in the rear seat will be able to straddle that without a problem. Another nice touch are the twin USB-C ports and some rear heated seats as well. And if you look at the seat in front of you, not only do you have a traditional map pocket, but also this little slot for your phone, which is very useful. The other bonus is an enormous boot. This thing is truly massive, and while there aren't a huge amount of toys, although it does have a little bit of a false floor, it is just so usable. There's this extra side pit here, which has got bags in, which I didn't know. You've got a 12-volt socket here, and you've got a couple of hooks, and also this thing, which is another hook as well. This section here is very useful for holding lots of random gear, such as jackets and stuff like that, to keep out of the boot floor, and you also have some remote levers for your rear seats as well, which do fold flat. In terms of powertrains, there is a range of options, including a 1.5 mild hybrid with 148 brake horsepower, a 2-litre TSI with 4-wheel drive and a DSG gearbox that has 262 horsepower. You can also get a couple of diesels, including one with 148 brake horsepower, and finally the 200 horsepower plug-in hybrid, which has 19.7 kilowatt-hour battery pack and a pretty decent all-electric range. Now, none of these cars are particularly sporty, even those Sportline models, and in general, this is a bit of a comfort-orientated car, which means that it's not going to particularly entertain around the bends. However, it is absolutely more than good enough for the sort of car that it is and for the sort of driving that you'll probably be doing with it. Now, in terms of economy, your mild hybrid is going to get around 55 mpg at best, with the turbocharged 4-wheel drive petrol getting around 36, which is quite impressive. The diesel will get up to 58 mpg, while the plug-in hybrid will get 784 mpg. Yes, 784. Now, that is down to the fact that this car will do about 70 miles on E-range alone, and so So while it is possible to get those sorts of figures if you're regularly charging, it's going to be difficult over a longer run. So overall, our thoughts on the Skoda Superb is that despite the fact that this car is the only car in its class, really, actually it doesn't really matter because it's such a great option regardless of which model you go for. There is plenty of variety with that plug-in hybrid and that diesel powertrain as well, and it's really well built, it's spacious, and it's efficient as well. All round, we think this is an excellent car and probably gets about 4.5 stars.